Have you ever wanted to learn a new language? Maybe you were inspired by a recent international trip, became obsessed with a foreign film or TV show, wanted to communicate better with a loved one, or just felt like developing a new skill. With Rosetta Stone, learning a new language is easier than you thought. Rosetta Stone has been a trusted expert for 30 years with millions of users and 25 languages offered, including Spanish, French, Japanese, Dutch, and more. Learning is immersive and designed for long-term retention, so you fully learn to speak, listen, and even think in that language. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. Listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/today. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/today.
Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
Hello, good morning, angels, and welcome back to Morning Ray. I'm your host, Lan or Alana, and today's episode, as you can tell by the title, is Dating 101. I don't know if it's going to be exactly titled that, but essentially it is Dating 101. Obviously, these are just some fun little things. Don't take it too seriously. I'm just your 23-year-old older sister. That's what the advice is. Maybe I'm younger than you and I'm giving you advice, but I'm just giving you some sisterly best friend advice. We're on FaceTime. You're asking me what to do. Maybe you're new to dating. Maybe you've been on 1,000,001 dates like myself. But we're going to do some... Oh, I'm moving my plate and it's making noise. We're going to do a little advice episode on dating. One of my followers was messaging me about a date and asking me questions and stuff and whatever, and it kind of prompted this idea of doing a Dating 101 episode. Also, I love talking about dating and all these things. Don't want it to become my whole brand, but it is fun, and I feel like I have some knowledge and I am a little qualified. I'm a little credible for this. Qualified? Credible? But anyhow, let's start off with our opening segments. We didn't do them last week. Also, I would like to thank you all for all your kind words and feedback on last week's episode. It really was a vulnerable episode for me. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's a really good exercise. I really recommend that you try it yourself. It's just a letter to your younger self. And again, I'm so grateful for all of your feedback and that it resonated with a lot of you and it helped a lot of you. So that always means the world for me. World to me, world for me, world to me. Wow, we can't speak. It's currently 5 p.m. on a Friday. So also, guys, how the fuck is it the end of March? Well, when you're listening to this, it's April. But how the fuck is it April? I feel like it was just January. I don't know. This year's going by so fast. I'm going to Coachella soon. But let's get into our weekly intention because I know you guys some of you like when the intro is short. So let's keep it short and sweet. But weekly intention, I really just want to keep my stress and anxiety levels low. I already know I'm going to get really anxious and stressed this week with finishing work and stuff like that leading up to leaving for LA. And it's also the Passover Seders. I'm Jewish if you did not know. So I have Passover Seders and I'm leaving for LA on Sunday and I have Coachella and I still haven't figured out my outfits entirely. So just managing my stress and anxiety levels. And that leads me into the tip of the week. And that is to lean into those self-care practices, the things that you know ground and calm you. So for me, it's journaling, it's working out, it's doing square breathing, taking deep breaths, practicing gratitude and mindfulness, encouraging myself to be present in the now. Current faves. First one, it's a little controversial right now. I know everyone, I don't know, people are saying pick your side. I like them both. I recently got sent the Rhode lip balm, peptide treatment, whatever it's called, because she launched in Canada. And so I finally got to try it, and I honestly really like it. I love the salted caramel. That's probably my favorite at the moment, but definitely I really do love it. Also, into EDM and house music. I'm having a lot of fun discovering new music. Follow me on Spotify. It's just at Alana Bloomberg. I've been making fun playlists and discovering new songs, and that's a whole lot of fun. I think I'm going to go to Osheaga, which is a festival here in Montreal. So that will be exciting. And my last current fave is homemade banana bread. I forgot how much I love banana bread. I'm a McDonald's recipe. It's honestly really good. It's a vegan, gluten-free banana bread, and it's really yummy and easy. So those are my current faves, but let's move on to the bulk of the episode. We're going to start off with the apps. You know, I'm not a huge fan of apps. I still use them from time to time. Honestly, I'll download a dating app if I feel the urge to text a boy that I shouldn't text anymore. That's just my coping mechanism. But I personally use Hinge the most, followed by Locks Club. The only thing about Locks Club is predominantly people are located in LA, New York, and Miami. So if you don't live in any of those cities, you will find that there are less people on there. It's not based on location. It's not like Hinge where you have the proximity of like everyone in your area sort of thing. Locks Club is also predominantly Jewish, that dating app. So it's just fun. But Hinge is definitely the one I use the most. I've gone on a lot of different Hinge dates, and I personally just love Hinge. So, well, I hate it, but Hinge is the one that I like out of like Bumble and Tinder and whatever else there is. Profile tips. So make your profile fun and playful. Use the prompts as a way to entice conversation. Also, I'm talking about this from heterosexual perspective. So I'm female and I identify as straight and I'm into men as a result. So that's like where my advice and my experiences are coming from, and that's my perspective, but you can apply it any which way. Interchange the words as you please, the pronouns. So profile tips, make it fun and playful. Use prompts as a way to entice conversation. So give boys like something to respond to. So for example, I don't have my job on my profile. Like I removed it just because I'm not going to put influencer or podcast host on my profile or like self-employed or entrepreneur. I kind of just didn't want that. So one of my prompts is, I think it was something like, guess this about me, or bet you can't guess this. And it's like what I do for a living. And I always get such funny responses to that. I don't remember what my other prompts are because I don't have Hinge at the moment. I deleted it for the millionth one time. But set up your prompts as a way to entice conversation, so you're not just getting like a guy saying hey, like liking a photo and saying hey sort of thing. In terms of conversation tips, obviously be yourself, don't overthink, be playful. I've seen like some funny tactics go around on TikTok. One of them was like, if you send like the first message, like send it as like a breakup text as the opener and see how they reply, like see if they play along with your sarcasm. A lot of girls have done that and said that they got asked out really fast and they actually made it off of the app. So that's fun. I can't remember. There were a few other ones that people have done, but there's always these like fun different ones going around on TikTok where if you get on that side of TikTok, you'll see them. Alternatives to meeting people outside of apps. I feel like everyone's always like, well, you can only meet people on apps. Like online dating is the only way in 2023. I kid you not, that is not the only way. You can meet in the old school, like quote unquote old school way. That's still possible. So you can meet 3 different ways outside of just dating apps, just obviously very generalized. So number 1 is out in the wild. You can meet in bars, coffee shops, in an elevator, workout classes, on the street, like anywhere. Number 2 is you can be set up by friends, so a mutual friend connection. You can be set up kind of on a double date situation, like maybe your friend and her boyfriend and like her boyfriend's friend, and then you go out on a double date situation. You can also be connected to someone through social media, like use social media as a dating app. I've done this so many times. Like I have mindlessly, well, not mindlessly, but like no shits, like given I will slide into a guy's DMs, like I really don't care. Literally just message them, hey, or be straight up and be like, hey, I would love to go for a drink sometime, or respond to a story or something like that. There's this cousin, like this girl on TikTok. I don't know if you've seen it, but she's like trying to set up her cousins and she has a whole application thing going on. And I decided like, there's 20,000 applications. I'm just going to follow this guy and DM him and tell him like when I'm in his town and say like, hey, like I'm in town, XYZ dates. I would love to grab a drink. And you know what? He responded and he said yes. So we shall see and report back to that. But I've done that so many times and I've successfully gone on dates and seen people and started like seeing someone consistently like from just sliding into the DMs. So literally like respond to stories, slide into their DMs, like a story, whatever it may be. There are so many different ways to use social media. A lot of people are actually saying on TikTok, like Instagram and TikTok are the new dating apps. And I can vouch to that. I've also met people off of TikTok, like guys I've started following on TikTok who are based in Toronto. And then I started talking to them on Instagram DMs and it's led to us going on dates. So there's so many different alternatives to just dating apps. If you don't necessarily have the confidence or you have social anxiety to go up to someone at a bar, like leverage social media, like why not? But also like work yourself up, like go up to someone at a bar. I mean, I haven't really done it that much. Like I've never like just gone up to one guy, I don't think. Have I? Like me and my friends have gone up to like groups of guys and like gone to their booth and like spoken to them that way. Or if like one of my girlfriends starts talking to one guy, like I'll start talking to the friend sort of situation. But I've also like seen things of girls going up to a guy being like, hey, like my friend thinks like you're cute, like are you single or whatever, and like going pretending it's like for the friend, but realistically it's like for them. And then if the guy says like, yeah, I'm single or whatever, who's the friend, and then you could be like, oh, it's actually me, like I'm the friend, and then like start a conversation or something like that. Okay, the first date. I personally love when the guy makes a plan. Like I want the guy to make the plan. Like let him plan it. He should give you a time and a place situation. Like I'm very traditional when it comes to that sort of thing. Coffee dates are kind of cute. I've done a few of those, but I wouldn't say like they're sexy, but it's kind of nice because you're sober. I feel like you have more clarity. For me, it's an activity I do with my friends, so it can help me picture them in my life, like trying them on for size sort of situation. But honestly, a solid go-to for mine is drinks. I love drinks because number one, not that you should rely on alcohol to loosen you up, but it does kind of act as an icebreaker and make you feel more comfortable, them feel more comfortable. I feel like the conversation is a little less awkward on the first date. Like you get to know each other and feel more comfortable around each other a bit faster, which is nice. Also, with a drinks date, if you're not feeling it, like, and you're not vibing, you can end it short as opposed to a dinner date where you have multiple courses. You're kind of waiting for the waitress or waiter to bring you your meal and your check, etc. So drinks is really nice because like you could be sitting at a bar or at a table and get one drink, and if you're not feeling it, you can leave, like pay and leave situation. It's also like very like low stakes. It doesn't take up your whole night, or it could if you want it to. It's also fun to go bar hopping with a guy, but solid go-to for first date is a drinks date at a cool bar. I personally recommend meeting there like at the location as opposed to him picking you up. Bonus points for him if he sends you an Uber and not an Uber that he's like in and he's going to pick you up in, because honestly, I hate it when boys pick you up in their Uber, and especially if you're meeting for the first time and it's almost like a blind date, like you've never met them or knew of them before Hinge, etc., or like never met them before this date, because you have to awkwardly say hi in the Uber and there's a third party and it's kind of awkward. Also, if you don't really know the person and if they're driving to pick you up, like you don't know how they drive, like you don't really know who they are, like I don't know, just like safety issues and comfort issues. I personally love to just meet them at the restaurant or bar, wherever we're meeting. Go for a basic outfit. Like get a classic outfit that you're doing for like your first date, like something you feel comfortable and confident in, you know, something that reflects your personal style, something you love, but most importantly, you should feel comfortable and confident in your outfit. I know Lindsay Metzler from We Met at Acme has a 2-drink rule when it comes to dates. I'm not necessarily going to say stick to 2 drinks. A lot of times I find myself doing more than 2 drinks. I mean, 2 drinks is like a good number, but just like your goal, 9 out of 10 times, like majority of the time, try not to get drunk on the first date. Like aim to we want to stay in the tipsy zone. We want to keep things classy. We want to still have clarity about how we feel about them. We don't want like it to be all messy, because I have gotten drunk on the first date and then I feel like it's like mixed up my perception of them. So I really recommend like stay in the tipsy zone, like control your liquor, like control yourself. Also like get the drink you like. I know a lot of girls will be like, well, not a lot of girls, but I know some girls will be like, oh, I'll just have what he's having. Unless you actually like what he's having, like get your own drink. Like if you want your spicy marg, if you want your espresso martini, if you want your glass of wine, whatever it may be, like get what you want. Also, okay, girls, do not be on your phone. Do not have your phone on the table. It should not be visible. It should be in your purse or your pocket, somewhere away, okay? The only acceptable time to be on your phone is if you go to the bathroom or if he steps away from the table and goes to the bathroom. Like, you are on a date. You are supposed to be giving this person your 100% undivided attention. So phone's away, and I really hope that his phone is away. I think it's a little bit of a red flag if on the first date, your first impressions, they're on their phone. Like, it's really just like not excusable. Like, you're with each other for what, 1 to 3 hours maybe? So just phones away. I personally, this one could be a little controversial, but I personally do not offer or pretend to reach for my wallet to pay anymore. If he asks you out, he should pay, especially on the first date, especially if it's just drinks. Like, it's not going to be too expensive. I don't know. That's just like my stance. However, like, do not forget to say thank you and to be very genuine about it. I used to argue with guys not letting me pay my half or pay for it or whatever. And now, like, I just know, like, I let them pay, I say thank you, and I'm very appreciative. Heading home. Oh, wait, before we get to heading home, when you're on your date, I know this can be hard for a lot of people, but make eye contact. Like, that is how you can genuinely connect with someone. I will remember and never will forget my mother with anyone. She's always like, make eye contact. When you are talking to someone on a date or not,
I feel like my list of things to buy, to do, activities that involve spending money is never ending around the holidays, making the idea of investing and saving and thinking about your future to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more overwhelming. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for you, your kids, and your retirement, even during the holidays. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start automatically investing your money in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. That could be $5 a day or even just your spare change. That's right, Acorns can round every purchase you make up to the dollar and automatically invest your spare change for you. And you can get bonus investments just for buying the stuff you need from the brands you love. I personally love Acorns. It's simplified the investment process, which can be overwhelming and intimidating, but it just makes it so simple, so easy, and something more accessible no matter how much money you have to invest. Head to acorns.com/Alana or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/Alana. I'm super excited about today's sponsor. They've sponsored the podcast before, and this is a topic I'm super passionate about. I fear that us as girls struggle with PMS far more than we should, and we really shouldn't. I truly get the worst PMS symptoms. My boobs are sensitive, my face breaks out, my sugar controllings are out of whack. I feel like I'm just a bottomless pit. My mood is not the vibe, and Estro Control has been super helpful in helping manage those PMS symptoms and making that time of the month a lot more enjoyable. Estro Control is a formula developed by Happy Mammoth, a supplement company dedicated to making women's lives easier. Say no more. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with PMS. It was created to help women feel like themselves all month long and to not struggle with the feelings PMS can cause. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Alana at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code Alana for 15% off today.
Being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50ray and use code 50ray for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50RAE and use code 50ray 50RAE for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Ray.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Make eye contact with them when you're speaking to them, when they're speaking to you. It just shows that you are listening and you are so much more connected when that eye contact is made. Also, it eludes confidence. Boys like confident girls. So make eye contact. Don't be looking down at the table. Don't be looking off to the side. Like, obviously, like, you can blink and, like, look away briefly, but, like, for the majority of the time, like, you should be making eye contact. Okay, heading home. 9 out of 10 times, majority of the time, do not go home with him or invite him up on the first date, personally. I'm not going to sit here and act like that hasn't happened. Like, sometimes they have. But just try not to on the first date. If you decide you are comfortable with him taking you home, either he's walking you home or Ubering with you home or driving you home, that's totally up for you. Just judge your comfort. If you're not going home together, bonus points for him if he calls you your own Uber. I would hope that either way, like, he makes sure that, like, you get home safely sort of vibes. But I personally like to head home alone, or actually I don't mind if, like, they walk me home. I mean, in Toronto, it's a super walkable city. I don't mind if we Uber home together and then he kind of gets out of the Uber at my place and hugs or kisses me goodbye sort of thing. I mean, that's still kind of awkward. Like, I don't know, living in an apartment building and, like, goodbyes on a first date are just awkward all around. But with an Uber or outside your apartment building, if you have concierge, like, they're going to see you if you, like, kiss them or whatever, but it's fine. Saying goodbye. You know how to end a conversation. You know how to like end a meeting, whatever. I'm not going to give you the details or how to or the manual on that. You can thank him. You can kiss him if you want. I strongly advise against kissing him if you do not want to see him again. But again, this is totally up to you. Post-date conversation. No need to send an additional thank you text after the date. If you said thank you on the date for the drinks or whatever, or you said you had a nice time with them, you do not need to send them another text. I personally wait for them to text me. I don't know. That's just like my take. I know Lindsay Metzler has the same opinion, but yeah, she's just the dating queen. That's why I keep referring back to her, and I listened to her podcast a lot. I don't agree with everything she says, but I do think she has a good standpoint on a lot of things. So that's essentially the first date. I'd love to hear your opinions of it in the DMs. Like, let me know. DM me either on @MorningRayPodcast Instagram or my personal Instagram @AlanaBloomberg. I love discussing these things. But let's move on to the roster. I personally love having a roster. Don't always have one, obviously, but ideally, the ideal roster for me is around like 2 to 3 people. I found like whenever I've had more than 3 people, it's really overwhelming. It's too hard to keep up with. I don't remember who I've told what. Also, my friends can't really keep up if I'm like telling them anything that's going on. And personally, right now with my life, like I don't have time for more than that. I barely have time for myself. So honestly, 2 to 3 people is ideal. This personally helps keep me in an abundance mindset. It helps me not get too consumed with one individual too quickly. It also helps keep my mindset and keeping myself on the pedestal. I think also rosters can really help you realize a lot sooner and quicker what you do and don't want in a partner, what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to. Overall, I'm a fan of the roster. They don't need to know. And then the way that you get rid of the roster is only like if you end the roster because like you're seeing one person or whatever, is like when you make it exclusive with that person or it's official or whatever it is. But I always like to have like the 3-date rule. If I'm not 100% certain I'm into a person by the 3rd date, then I'm sorry, Joe, Ross, Justin, Jake, I don't know, whatever their name is. I'm sorry, things aren't working. I'm not really feeling it. Usually 3-date rule is my typical scale. So rule of thumb, by the 3rd date, if I'm not 100% certain on this man, then he's out. Usually I'll know by then. And I feel like most people know by then if you're vibing. So that's like my rule of thumb. In terms of texting in between dates, I personally have now learned that I don't love to text super frequently in between dates in the early phases of seeing someone because I feel like it just progresses the relationship along in my head further than it actually is. And that can really fuck with my mindset and my feelings and what actually is reality with this person. I also rather have those conversations in person. I rather keep things moving slowly in the beginning. And that's just personal preference. But if you want to talk to them all the time, you can. Just obviously be aware of things like love bombing. Super important to be aware of. So now we're just going to head into some reminders and then we'll close off the episode. But remember, you are the prize. Like, you are this thing. Like, boys, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can chase the man. Like, you can go after a man. I'm not going to sit here and say you can't. Like, I literally said you can slide into their DMs and, like, make the first move. But at the end of the day, like, human nature is a man needs to chase the woman. Like, they need to kind of, like, hunt after what they want. And I'm not saying to play games by any means, but let him chase you a little bit. Like, it feels good to be chased. Like, don't play games. We're not being toxic over here. We're not being hot and cold. But let him chase you a little bit. Like, you are busy. You have your own life. You have your own plans, your friends, responsibilities, obligations. Like, do not cancel your plans and empty out your calendar in the event that you might see Mr. J name, Chad, Brad, whatever his name is. Like, make your plans with your friends when you want to make them. And if he asks you out or wants to see you, like, you can fit it into your schedule somewhere, or he can find time when you're free, sort of situation. Learn how to communicate. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, and I have truly learned that. I've experienced it. I've experimented with it. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. And communication is so key, and this will just like help you feel so much better. Communication is the basis of a strong relationship. You need good communication in order for anything to work. So communicate your feelings, communicate your boundaries. It's okay to set boundaries. Set your damn boundaries and stick by them. Don't let him push you around. Set them. And it's supposed to be fun. Dating is supposed to be fun. Like, it's playful. You get to meet people. They can become connections, like network connections. They can become friends. It could be something more. It could just become nothing at all. But it's supposed to be fun. And again, I said this in last week's episode, but really focus your narrative on, do I like him, as opposed to, does he like me? Like, really think about it. Do I like this person? Does he make me feel good? Do I feel safe and comfortable around him? Really focus on those feelings. Like, I have noticed there are certain people that I feel super comfortable around, and I'm definitely more attracted to those people. And it's okay to be a little nervous before dates, but I've also learned that whenever I've been like super anxious before like any time seeing a person, it was like my body's inner way of knowing and warning me that this person was not it, that they were not for me, that they were a walking red flag, that it wasn't supposed to be me and them together. So just like really trust your gut on everything. If you are confused, let him go. I've said this before. If you are confused, let him go. Like, if he likes you and is into you, it will be clear as daylight. Like, boys are so simple like this. And you will know when you know. Always use protection. You should never feel like you owe them sex or anything else. And if they don't want to use protection, then they don't deserve to have sex with you. Protection is super important, not only so you don't get pregnant. And I'm not just talking about the birth control pill or an IUD or any other contraceptive method. Like, you need to be using a condom because you don't know where they've been, if they're clean, if they have been tested. A lot of the times guys will lie and say that. So always use protection. And I encourage you to have condoms and things on hand in your apartment. And if you want to carry them with you in your purse as well, like, always just be prepared. And also just know that the rules and quotations that I mentioned, they're fine to be broken. I break them sometimes too. Kind of just like go off of what you feel right in that moment. If you want to go home with them on the first date, go for it. But just do what feels right to you. Put yourself first. And again, do not cancel plans for him. Like, do not sit around waiting for him to message you. Like, you are busy. Like, you're living your own life. You're allowed to be busy. You're allowed to have your own life. Do not put boys on the pedestal. Put your goddamn self on that pedestal. And at the end of the day, I'm going to say 8 out of 10 times, if he wanted to, he would. Obviously, there are circumstances that go into this, but at the end of the day, like, in a generalization, if he wanted to, he would. If he liked you, you will know, and it won't be confusing. And have fun. Enjoy yourself. Get to know yourself. I think the best thing I ever did was go on 1,000,001 dates, almost host my own bachelorette. Really stand behind the roster rule. And I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions or concerns or information that you want to know about. But yes, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Morning Ray. I love when you guys tag me on stories when you're listening. So please continue doing that. I love when you guys leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I've been doing like these poll things or question, I don't know. There's this new feature on Spotify where I can ask you questions and you can answer them. So I've been having a lot of fun doing that. And thank you to everyone who has responded. I love you guys so much, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.